Welcome, welcome. Welcome to Inspired Talks with Janelle and Lorena. I'm Lorena Kachik, and that's Janelle.
Hi, I'm Janelle. Oh, wait, let me see. I'm on Clubhouse now. Hi, I'm Janelle. And yes, we are starting our new Inspired Talks podcast. So this will be a podcast later on where you can catch all of the goodies, all of the highlights of this talk with Robert. So let's introduce Robert, Lorena.
Okay. Kyoshi Robert Torres is dedicated to challenging both women. Oh, both. Wait.
Women and men, yep, that's true.
Wait, hold on. This is live and I am like ruining the script. Let me just go back. Kyoshi. Okay. Kyoshi Robert Torres is dedicated to challenging both children and adults to be the best versions of themselves and to achieve black belt elegancy at his dojo, Crescent Moon Karate Academy. And not only is he a wonderful coach and teacher for these young adults and kids, he is also an entrepreneur and he also has a podcast. And I was probably one of, I don't know, was I the first? No,
Sure,
that was
you were
my
definitely
first.
one of the first. You were definitely one of the first.
It was my first time being in a podcast, and I never even heard about being in a podcast, being interviewed in a podcast, and he opened up those doors to me. So I was very excited to bring him to our podcast and be our episode number 2 because
Awesome.
He is an inspiring human being. He has a lot to offer, not only in business, in life, and also he inspires a lot of the young kids around him. So welcome, Robert Torres. Kyoshi. Wait, should I do Kyoshi first?
Yeah, Kyoshi's fine. Kyoshi's a title in the martial arts, so that's what my students call me. But you can stick with Robert. Keeps it simple.
Okay, what does Kyoshi mean? And it's Japanese, right? Kyoshi.
Can't hear you.
Oh. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
On Clubhouse, yeah. So Kyoshi, what does Kyoshi mean?
Kyoshi's it's like when you go to school, it's like you have a teacher in elementary school and you have like a professor in college. So Kyoshi is in layman's terms, Kyoshi just means like a professor title, you know. It's just a higher level of teaching. Yep.
Cool, thank you for that.
Yeah,
I love Japanese, and I have a lot of Japanese students as an ESL teacher, so
awesome.
I love learning about different languages. So awesome.
Yeah, the titles come from Kendo. They come from Kendo, so they just adopted the titles from the Kendo system into our system. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So
tell our audience a little bit about yourself, because we know you, but people don't know you. So I know you gave us your bio, but it's better when it comes out of you. So let us know who is Robert Torres.
Yeah. So let me see. I was born in New York. I was born in New York City. I grew up in the Bronx, and then my family moved out of the Bronx. That's when I studied martial arts. Started training when I was 6 in New York at a little gym, and then moved to New Jersey when I was around about 11. And then I stopped training for a while because my family had moved, and got in the Boy Scouts, and then picked up karate again, probably like a few years, about a year later. And so been training karate, and I was in the Scouts for a long time, probably till I was 17. And when I was 17, I got my Eagle Scout, my black belt, and I joined the Army, National Guard. I don't know if you can hear me. Oh, sorry, hold on. I had a call coming in. I joined the Army, and I got my black belt and got my Eagle Scout, all pretty much in the same year. And my backup was to be a martial arts instructor. It was never to be like my first thing. I always wanted to be a police officer. But I moved to LA, and I was like, you know what, maybe being a police officer in LA is not such a great idea. So let me pursue martial arts. So I was in the martial arts for a while, and then I had stopped then my wife Jenny had motivated me to get back into it, and I really wasn't motivated. When you're like, man, I don't want to do it anymore. You just like feel like you're burnt out, and you're just not in it. And about a year later, Jenny convinced me to start teaching again. I had one student. I was renting space for, I think it was like $25 for an hour, down the street from where my current studio is. And I had one student for 6 months, and it was rough, but I was working part-time too. And that was in 2008. So 2009 hit, I got laid off, but at that time I had grown my membership to 10. So I was like, man, I'm laid off. I'm like, what am I going to do? And I got lucky because Karate Kid with Jaden Smith came out that year. And so what I did was I did a mass intro. And I don't know if you're familiar with what a mass intro is, but a mass intro is where you advertise one free class and then sign up as many people as you can. So I would say I had about 40 people attend the mass intro. And out of the 40, I signed up about 15 to 20. So I ended up having, I know the numbers. I had about 20 students when I first started. And I left that day going, oh my God, I got to open a karate school. So it's a good problem to have. So I was literally driving down the street that day thinking the same thing. Man, I got to open a karate school. And I saw a space for lease. And I said, oh, pulled over. And I looked inside the place. I saw the number. I called the guy. And I literally had like $1,200 left. And that was the rent. And so I said, I go, how much is the rent? He goes, it's $1,200. And I go, okay. I wrote him a check for $1,200. And it took me about a month to get the space ready. And it was a lot of growing pains, but we've been there ever since, and we've been doing really well. So that's a little bit about me. Through my journey so far, I wrote a book. I've got my own website for coaching, business coaching, and stuff like that. And I'm working on another book. The book that I have now is called The Black Belt Mindset: A Guide for Parents. And it's got some stories and stuff in there, and it's a pretty great book. I think so. I'm kind of tooting my own horn, but I think every parent could benefit from some of the knowledge that's in there. And if, like, for me, if I can, I approach that as I do like my martial arts instruction. So if I can help one person succeed in their lives, if I can help one child, at any point in their lives, succeed, then, I've done my job. So that's where I feel. That's what I feel. That's where I'm at. That's who I am.
Awesome. What ages do you teach, Robert? What's the age range?
So I teach ages 4 and up. So I don't teach ages 1, 2, or 3 because I don't think that, and this is just me personally from, teaching martial arts for 30 years. I feel like they will benefit more between the ages of 4 and 7. What I found is that children are most influential in those years. And if I can have a positive influence in their lives at that moment, because then they're like sponges, they're just soaking it in. So anything that they learn, life skills wise, is so important, and it will help them become the person they're going to become in the future.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's amazing.
It's and martial arts, we're both back, our background is dancing, but it has a lot of similarities, the discipline, and you learn that with any sport, and especially martial arts. Like, you are you only talk when you're, told to, you respect your teacher. It's kind of like very respect, like that's in ballet class too, Janelle, right? Like you're just not like talking back to the teacher. It's a lot of those life skills that you may not get at home or not at school, but you will get it in a karate studio, or in this name, it's called dojo, right? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, different systems call it different things. There's a dojang, there's a dojo. So just depends on what you're studying.
And something interesting, our first question was, what does it take to run a dojo and how did you get started? You already answered how you got started, and I feel like that's an amazing story. I personally didn't know about the $1,200. That comes to show you that it was meant to be. You were at the right place at the right time, and that's how life is. So that's amazing. But yeah, what does it take to run a dojo? Because I think if somebody wants to do what you do, what's the advice? Don't give up, keep going, or.
Yeah, so that's a great question. And so I'd have to go back for that. So when I was about when I first started karate, I was learning, and I would literally my instructor would, because I couldn't get to the dojo in time. So, and my parents were working; they were both working, trying to sustain life and pay for a mortgage and all that stuff. So, so they were both working. So my instructor would pick me up from school and take me to the karate school, and I would do my homework before classes started, and I would help him teach classes. And I was a yellow belt at the time, so I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just kind of like up there with the kids and like kind of like just being there and like making sure that students were doing kind of proper technique, but I still didn't know what I was doing. And back then, like, there wasn't a lot of guidance when it came to like instructors coming up. There wasn't like instructor staff training like there is today, where it's like a professional event, and instructors from around the world get together and share their knowledge and share their teaching techniques. So now it's a lot more professional. Back then it was like, okay, get out there, go teach this, and you're like, okay. So, but it was that experience and that opportunity that my instructor gave me that gave me the knowledge on how to actually teach classes. So I think if first and foremost, you need to have a mentor, someone who's been where you are and who is where you want to be. And I think that goes for anything in business and in life. You have to have those mentors, people who are going to guide you in the places where you need to be, or where you want to be. So that was my first exposure to teaching. As far as the business aspect, it was the same thing. It was, we moved to a different location, a much bigger and better location. So we needed to, do introductory lessons and sign people up. And I started learning the business aspect of it, profit and stuff like that, and income and expenses, all the basics, financials, but then how to manage students, how like softwares to use, things like that. So there was a lot of knowledge that I had that I didn't realize I had, and I took it for granted until I needed it, and then you're like, oh my God, like this is really coming in handy. Even answering the phone, like you'd be surprised, you just pick up the phone and be like, hi, hello, you know what I mean? It's not very professional, but when you pick up the phone and you go, it's a great day at Crescent Moon Karate, how may I help you? So it's different, and it's things that you learn through experience. It's not just something that you can learn overnight. It's constant repetitiveness. It's like learning a new dance routine or learning a new form or learning a completely new system, like going from learning karate like I did to learning Japanese jiu-jitsu, Okinawan Kempo, and now Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So like it's a whole different world, business. And so you need a mentor, and you need someone to guide you. And then you need also someone to advise you on different aspects, because you might have a good martial arts instructor who knows the business and all that, but now you need someone who's really strong at marketing, who could help guide you there, and get advice, because, students unless you're marketing, you don't have business unless you're marketing. So that's important too. And I think one of the things that really people need is not just a mentor, but it takes guts to open a business and start a business and start in an industry that you love, because the passion takes over, right? Your passion is so into what you're doing, because you turn your passion into your business. Now it's like, oh, it's not so much passion anymore. Yeah, it's still passion. You're still passionate about it, but now you have to worry about the numbers. Now you have to start holding yourself accountable, right? And like certain things, like if you weren't in business, you would just let go. but because you're in business, you can't overlook certain things, and you learn that because, you know, you either learn it and do it, or you learn it and then forget it and you just don't do it, and then you suffer from that. That's like the school of hard knocks, you know what I mean? Like, you know it, you know what you're supposed to do, but when it comes down to it, to make that decision or to, you know, process this payment or forget to process the payment or whatnot, you know, then you start to learn, oh wow, that hits my pocketbook, you know, and I can't pay my instructors, or I can't pay for the new mats that we're going to get, or I can't pay for the lights to stay on, you know. So business acumen is super important. I don't think, because I didn't go to business school, but I don't think you need business school. I think you just need, I think you need the self-discipline, the self-control, and the right guidance. And I think if you have all three of those things, and you need support, obviously. So if you have all of that, you know, then I think you'll have a good, a successful business, period. You know, because I like to say that my dojo is like my hobby, but it's not now. You know, I mean, it is and it's not. You know, martial arts is my hobby, but my studio is my business, and you know, my students are, you know, the lifeblood of my business, and it keeps my business going. And I have relationships with my students, you know, personal relationships, but also professional relationships. So I know my students, I know their parents, you know, I know what they need. I can guide them towards becoming black belts. Yeah, I think I'm going on a tangent, but I think the most important thing is, you know, getting that mentorship, having the self-discipline and the self-control, and having a support system.
Thank you. Yeah, that is great. Very important points. So you said self-discipline, self-control, guidance, and I think you said, what was the other one, Lorena? The support system.
Support system, yeah.
Yeah. So those are the key things I was just going to ask you that as well. Going into our second question, you're just hitting all these questions. You're so intuitive, Robert. What the skills that you need as an entrepreneur running the dojo, and those are the ones that you need, right? All those things. So I'll go to the third question. Who motivates you in your personal development space? Like, I mean, there's everyone, you know, out there, the big personal development, you know, gurus like Tony Robbins, and there's so many, right? Which ones have really inspired you and motivated you to keep going and grow as an entrepreneur?
There are a lot of people in our industry and people in the personal development and self-improvement industry. I like to listen to everybody. You know, I have Tony Robbins books. I have everybody's books. Like, if you go to my dojo, half of my library is at the karate school and half of my library is here. I don't know. I don't have one favorite one. You know, I think what's important is, if you're not driven on your own, like if you're not passionate about your own success, you're going to fail. You're not going to be one. You're not going to put the effort. You're not going to put that foot forward to improve yourself, improve your life. Motivation doesn't come from other people. Motivation comes from within. So if you say, well, I need to listen to this person to get me motivated, I feel like that's the wrong thinking. I feel like if you're not already motivated, then you're wasting your time. You need to be motivated. Like, you might as well just get a 9-to-5 job. You know, like that goes for anything. Like, if you're not motivated to get off the couch and go to the studio and start training and working out, you know, you're not motivated enough to see change. You have to come to a point where you're just, it's a cliche, right? So I've heard somebody say this before. You got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. Yeah. So, I'll tell you a story. When I was a kid, I had these guys follow me home from school every day, constantly, and making fun of me because I used to walk home from school, and they would make fun of me and like call me names and like push me and stuff like that. So, and it would happen on a daily. So one day, I turned around and there was a lot more kids that day, and I found myself literally in a circle of people, and I got pushed to the ground, and I got mounted, and that day, I told myself, and as I'm covering up from punches and strikes and stuff, this will never happen to me again. And when you can tell yourself that, then a change will happen in you. So I feel like people need to get to that point where they just, a light switch turns, right? And they go, why am I doing this? This is the dumbest thing I've ever done to myself, to my body. Why am I putting myself through this? And they start asking the right questions. And to me, the right questions are, why am I doing this? How can I not do this anymore? And what can I do to make myself better? Or what can I do to put me in a better situation? And I think those are the three key questions people need to ask themselves if they want to get out of something, or get out of a situation, or get out of like either a relationship or a job or a business relationship or anything like that. You need to start asking yourselves those questions, because if you don't hit that switch, if you don't hit that switch, nothing's going to change. And when you hit that switch, you decide, okay, this is going to be the change, and this is going to be forever.
Yes, so true. I was just thinking of that, just as you were saying that, the fact that to produce any kind of change, you either respond to pain or pleasure, right? So whatever drives you to that change, it could be pain, which in your case it was, right? It was pain that drove you to change. And for other people, it's pleasure. So that's another lesson as well. But I like that how you said those questions to ask yourself. So thank you for that knowledge there, and for sharing that. Lorena, you want to ask the next question?
No, thank you so much for sharing that story. I know a lot of our audience will, relate to you. It is change. And I think sometimes, it has to come within, like how you said, it has to come. We want to do it, not somebody told us to do it, or they suggest, or we're not going to do it until they do it, or it has to come within. Like as many times as people tell you, well, just do it. Well, it's easy to say, just do it. If you're not feeling it and you're not like mind and body and spirit wanting to do it, you're not going to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was a really great question, great story.
Yeah, so that falls in with everybody, what I was saying before too. So like you look at movies like Star Wars, right? And you look at Luke Skywalker, and Luke Skywalker was, he was just like a kid. He was just kind of like there. He was on the farm, and then something happens, like a catastrophic event happens, and it leads him to change his life. But in that story, he finds a mentor, he trains, he puts in the effort. There's moments where he wants to give up. There's moments where he wants to, but he wants to like do better for himself. And then there's like, that battle between the light and the dark side. Oh, come to the dark side, Luke. And there's that battle, and we have that battle. And sometimes for some of us, it's on a daily basis, you know what I mean? And it's incredible what we are capable of as human beings, you know what I mean? And what we do and the decisions that we make and the road and paths that it leads us off to. And you can just equate it to that, like something like that. Just look at Luke, be Luke Skywalker, find a mentor and make the right decisions. And if you don't know what decisions to make, ask someone who's already been there, you know what I mean? And that I think will help you be successful, do the right thing.
And sometimes don't beat yourself up. Sometimes you hear this millions of times, and you probably hear from your loved ones or your friends or your partners, and you don't listen to it. So if it's not, sometimes it takes more times for you to listen and apply to it. So I sometimes do that. So, okay. Well, the next question. I don't know what you did. I hope you're not cheating because he like answered all the questions, right, Janelle? Like everything that we
I
had,
told you
I'm
he's
like,
so intuitive this whole time, so on the money with these questions.
No.
Just
yeah, I don't even want to, like, the last one that we had was, what advice will you give? Oh wait, well that's the advice you give to somebody to open up their dojo. Okay, well the last question will be, what are you presently working on or creating? I know you said a book, but anything else? Let us know. Oh, let our
Yeah, so I have my dojo website. It's crescentmoonkarate.com. So if anybody lives in the area, 90019 area in LA, you guys can come through. We've got an amazing martial arts program for kids and adults. I wanted to talk to you guys about putting together a women's self-defense seminar. And I wanted to make sure that happened tonight. So I wanted to talk to you guys about doing that too. So before we get off the phone or off the podcast, I wanted to go over that with you guys and then put that in the ether. So that's thing one. Thing two is I have a website. It's called theroberttorres.com. And that has pretty much all my information, everything that you need to know about me, what's coming up. I do events, I do seminars, I teach classes pretty much across the U.S. And I do. Yeah, all I do is train, teach, and have fun. So it's what we're all about. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's it. So let me see. Yeah, let's talk about this women's self-defense class. I definitely would love to have you guys there, and would love to kind of teach pretty much all of it. So we could do a 6-week course where we do 1 hour for 6 weeks straight, and we'll hook you guys up. Anybody who's listening to the podcast now, if you guys want to do it, we'll hook you guys up with a discount for any podcast listeners. We'll do something like that for you guys, and I'll leave that to Lorena and Janelle to put together.
Let's do it. Yes. I think our listeners will love that. We've done that before, long time ago. If you could see on YouTube, there's some videos of Robert and I doing self-defense. Well, he's teaching me how to do self-defense. So that's very important. So I feel like that we'll set it up and we'll post it and you guys will find out. So follow us.
Yes. And especially now, like, welcome, Clea. I don't even know if I'm butchering your name, but thank you for joining us. So, being in the AAPI community too, like being that all these things have been happening to the Asian community, all these things, I feel like I need to have that self-defense too, just in case. Like even now I carry my mace spray just in case, you know what I mean? Luckily, I don't have as many Asian features as some other people with, and, I'm always just really careful now. I mean, you always have to be, but even more so, I'm thinking about what I learned in jujitsu when I went, because I did go to one self-defense class for jujitsu, and I learned a lot in just that one day. So the fact that you're having this workshop for women or really helping women is amazing. So I can't wait to start and learn.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm fired up about it too. Because
if you have a question,
a lot of things have been happening in the news a lot lately, and locally too. So and I know the school year is starting to come out, and I may be a little too late for people going back to school or going to college or something like that. But it's something that I think everyone should know something. If that one thing helps them in any way, then it'd be worth it. So yeah.
And I know.
There you are.
Gotcha. There goes my AirPod. Or whatever that called it, earpod or whatever. If you have a question for Robert, please stay in Clubhouse. But everybody else in YouTube and Facebook. Oh, wait, before we're done, we have our five trivia questions. And it's just very quick questions. They're fun. Don't get scared, Robert. We're not gonna like ask anything.
Don't worry,
I think
I'm
my
not scared.
my intro already was like pretty funny. So I don't think it can.
I should have sent you an intro. I have an intro when I do speaking engagements at like schools or events like that. I should have sent you the intro. I just didn't.
You're
I didn't think about it.
Me out.
Sorry about that. I'll send it to you, and then we could re-record the whole thing.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Okay, so the first question: what 3 movies you will recommend our audience and why? 3 movies.
Oh, 3 movies that I think they would like, or 3 movies that I like. Okay, so 3 movies that I like. You guys are gonna laugh. So I like Karate Kid. I like Ninja Turtles. I like Terminator, and I'm gonna get one bonus video in there. One bonus movie. The Samurai Assassin. That's a really, really good movie. It's an OG Japanese film. If you're into that style of old school Japanese videos, I think that would be super cool. It's called The Lone Wolf now, I think they call it. But that's such a good movie. And me and one of my professors, we were talking about that film today in jiu-jitsu class. We were like, oh yeah, do you remember this movie? I was like, oh yeah, I saw that. And like we were the only 2 who were talking about the movie because nobody's seen it because it's so old. But such a good one. So definitely those are my recommendations. And the original Karate Kid, not the new one, not this new karate one. That's the original, the OG with Daniel and Mr. Miyagi.
Yes, definitely a classic for sure.
Wax on, wax off.
Yes.
It was filmed here in the Valley in Reseda.
Yeah.
I know. And it's funny that now I live here. I'm coming from the island, I'm from, Guam. And so coming out here and then watching it again. And I'm like it means so much. It's so different now that I'm here, I'm like, oh, okay. Now I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So another question for our trivia is, let's see. We asked this one to Cheryl, but I'm going to ask this again. If you had a choice between the 2 superpowers, being invisible or flying, what would you choose?
I have my superpower already.
I
have my superpower.
What is it?
My superpower is my passion. My passion. I think that's my superpower, and my self-confidence, and I think that's my superpower. My self-motivation, that's my superpower. So I think I already have my superpower. I think I've only personally, and I think for everybody else, I think you're only tapping into a little bit of what your actual superpower is, and you need to, develop it, so find a coach, find a mentor, train.
I like that. Okay, he twisted that question. I love it.
Dig deep. Okay. Dig deep.
Okay, let's do another one. What? How would you like to be remembered as?
However people remember me. To me, it's not important how I'm remembered. It's to me, it's more. How do I say this? This is tough. How do I say it? The only thing, I want to say it so I say it right, so that it sticks with people. I think that I don't want to live, or I don't want to die knowing that I haven't done or given my best in everything that I've done, if that makes sense, right? So to me, it doesn't matter how people remember me. I just don't want to die I don't want to die not giving my all, not trying what I could have tried. Does that make sense?
100%. 100%.
Definitely.
Because I feel like that's what people regret, I think, a little bit, not doing things, not giving it all, everything that you have in there with, you know, all your power, all. Sometimes I think we hold back, like you said, that we don't even know we're capable in certain things. We don't even know what our superpower is. Maybe we tapped into it, but we don't even know all the fire, el foi that we have.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like
The foi.
No, that was not for me. It's, look it up on YouTube. It's this guy. It's pretty funny. They arrest this guy in Mexico, and he has to be really like intoxicated, but he's like talking about his foi, his inner power. And he's like, el foi. And it's so funny because it translates, even if you don't know Spanish, because it's so true. Like, I don't think he was really thinking of what he was saying, or maybe he was, but it just, every time I, like, there's this hard situation, I always tell my husband, el foi, like, you want to think of a foi. Okay, yeah. Google it. But that's a great, I like that, Robert. Okay, your turn, Janelle.
Okay, we're such foodies, Lorena and I. Like, we love food. If you know us, we love food. Okay, so my question to you is, like, what would be like your last meal, you know, that you would want to have, or just like your favorite meal that you know, you can eat every day. Like, this is something that you can't get tired of. You'll be able to eat this every single day.
That's two different. That's two different questions, though. You're asking what would be my last meal, and what food, if I only choose one meal, what would it be?
Right, but you know what I mean. Like, your favorite meal in terms of that satiating meal that you could have that, you know, would satisfy you, and is one of your favorites, right?
I think a meal that I could have nonstop forever would be Chinese food. I love Chinese food. I don't know what it is about it, but I'm like addicted to it. And every time my wife Jenny says, "What do you want to get to eat?" I'm hungry. I'm like, all right, well, do you want to do Chinese? That's like the first thing that comes out of my mouth. So I'll be like, do you want Chinese? And she's like, no, I don't want Chinese food. So.
I did not know you like Chinese.
Chinese food.
Chinese food is so good. I thought I for sure you're gonna say sushi. Like,
no, that would be, so sushi would be like my last meal. I think like a really, really good, delicious sushi meal, like from Sugarfish, or, you know, from there's another sushi spot by me on Toluca Lake. If you guys are in Toluca Lake, it's super good. It's called Sushi Yuzu. We were just there. It's amazing. I highly recommend it. So, and if you guys go, you have to invite me. All right.
Okay. Well, now I know, and we're gonna take Jenny and our husbands. Janelle, you have to come. I gotta take you guys to a Chinese restaurant. It's called Chai's. I love that place. It's in Reseda. It is so good. The orange chicken. You will never find a better place in the valley. The Chinese food is, and the owner dances ballroom.
Awesome.
It's pretty cool. So I don't know. Okay, so I don't get paid for any of this stuff that I'm talking about. I'm just so passionate about it. Okay, but now we know Robert likes Chinese food, and and Janelle and I love to eat. So our last question for you is, okay. What is your favorite book or TV series? You know.
Oh my God.
Wait, is it the last question? Maybe no. He has one more, right?
Probably. I don't know.
I think that was it. This is the last one.
Okay. Favorite book. Okay, so So My favorite book is probably going if I had to go away to an island, deserted island, I had to pick one book, it would be probably, oh my gosh, I would say Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I would take that to the island. And what was the other question?
It could have been a book or TV series.
TV series. Okay. TV series. Cobra Kai.
Okay.
Yeah, Cobra Kai. Right now it's Cobra Kai because, I'm a big fan of the Karate Kid, the original, and so when the Jaden Smith version came out, I was very disappointed because it was Kung Fu and it said Karate Kid. I didn't not like the movie. I really liked the movie, but it wasn't Karate Kid. And so when they came out with Cobra Kai, I was ecstatic and like a nut for that movie or that series. So. Yeah. And I was so happy when Netflix picked it up. Netflix picked it up. Yeah, I was so happy when Netflix picked it up. It was awesome. So I'm like, yes, let's keep going.
Yeah, and it's really exciting too because I was helping a friend who's in the industry, and I'm really good at hip hop, but she's not. And so I go over and I help her. And what's the audition for? It's for Cobra Kai or some musical because they're basically turning this into a musical. Just so you know. It's coming. It's going to be a musical. So look for it.
Okay.
Heard it here first.
I actually watched some of the videos and I was like, it would be cool if I did a breakdown of the fight series. So the fight scene. So on the YouTube channel for Crescent Moon Karate, I have a couple of videos that break down the fight scenes. And it was fun to do. It's really cool. So if you check it out, it's pretty funny. I love it.
And now you have to wait. What's your YouTube? Well, you'll send us everything.
Yeah, so it's just Google Crescent Moon Karate or the Robert Torres, and you'll find all the information on me and all the videos and links and stuff like that. But if you go straight to
website
the Robert
again?
Torres, you'll find that there. TheRobertTorres.com, and if you're looking to train in martial arts with me, it's CrescentMoonKarate.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
We
Robert.
had such a great time with you. It was awesome. A lot of information. I wish we had more time and we would have told you, ask you more questions, but we're going to have to invite you again. Oh, there's Jenny.
So, she's off to a class too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's going to go teach. So we'll definitely have you on again, and we have to read the book. Janelle and I have to read your book, and we'll get back on you on that. So thank you so much. And anybody that's staying in Clubhouse, if you want to ask Robert Torres a question, go on Clubhouse where we are live right now as we speak. We're going to say goodbye to YouTube and Facebook.
Bye, YouTube. Bye, Facebook.
Bye, everybody. Stay on Clubhouse. Oh, there's Jenny.